It's that time of year again, friends. Winter is fully upon us. For my returning subscribers, welcome back, Fash Fam. It is so good to see you. For anyone new joining us today, welcome. This channel is all about creating style without boundaries, so if that resonates with you, I think you're going to like it here. Winter 2025 is inevitably and fastly approaching. If you're anything like me, you don't want to sacrifice looking stylish to stay warm. Many will tell you that you have to pick and choose which is your preference, but I disagree with that. I don't think you have to sacrifice looking good to stay warm. In today's video, we're going to cover our winter wardrobe essentials that are not only practical, but also are stylish as well. I have several tips prepared here for you today, and it is going to be slightly different than my previous year's video on beating the winter blues. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The foundation of any winter outfit is built upon your base layers. Your base layers are going to be probably the most important component, as they're going to serve as a perfect insulator to keep you warm and keep you comfortable as you're out there braving freezing temperatures, snow, and other less than favorable conditions. Now, when it comes to thermal layers, my preference is for Uniqlo's Heat Tech or 32 degrees. They are the perfect insulators. They're thin, they're lightweight, but they are very warm, and they serve as a perfect substitute towards your traditional undershirts and leggings. They're popular for a reason. That being said, if you want to opt for something a little bit more luxurious that maybe you don't mind being seen, I really like these options from Intimissimi, which I can't believe I had never really been aware of before. Intimissimi has beautiful cashmere and wool underlayer options that are stunning. I loved this merino wool turtleneck option for men, but I also loved this boat neck cashmere lame t-shirt for women. They're so thin, they're so subtle, but they do feel quite luxurious. I know for me that these are underlayers that I could actually build my outfit around and wouldn't mind being seen or even being a central component of the look. Whereas with my Heat Tech and my 32 degrees, I really try to make sure that they are not seen or very little of them are seen because they do feel quite casual and quite sportive. Now, you certainly don't have to play it safe and go for the more traditional offerings like this. If you are somebody who prefers a little bit more edge, opt for some subversive basics, like what you can get from Margiela NYC. Margiela NYC is great for taking a traditional t-shirt and adding just a touch to make it feel like something entirely brand new. Next up, let's talk about knitwear. If you're more traditional, you can opt for classic pieces like a merino wool crew neck or a cashmere turtleneck, cashmere cardigan. Now, if you were to ask me my personal preference, I would steer you towards chunky knitwear with an injection of personality. Maybe it's just because this is the layer of clothing that you're going to see when my jacket is unbuttoned, but I like for it to have a little bit of interest, especially because when we're dealing with cold temperatures, lack of sunlight, gloominess, a little bit of fun just always elevates my mood. I also opt for luxurious and natural fibers that are warm but also breathable. Think merino wool, cashmere, angora, and mohair if I can get them. I'll go for interesting patterns like this Acne Studios striped Albah sweater. It's a beautiful mohair option with blue, gray, black, purple, and mauve pink. It's traditional enough where it doesn't feel very trendy or of the moment, but it's fun enough where it just makes me feel great when wearing it. It also, as far as knitwear goes, isn't super itchy. It's a little bit relaxed in the shoulder, a little bit of a boxier cut, but still effortlessly stylish. If I want something a little bit more eye-catching, I also have this Alyx 9SM option. I purchased this from Essence a couple years ago, and it is a beautiful mohair option and probably the softest sweater I own. I love the texture of the knit, but I also love the bubblegum pink colorway. For many people, they probably would say that this isn't practical, but pink tends to be the color that I like to wear when I want to pop, and it pairs quite well with the rest of my wardrobe. If I'm going to go for an option in a more subdued colorway, I want to add an avant-garde flair to it. This Monse turtleneck that I have is designed to look as if the bottom of the garment was ripped away. So one side of the garment hangs down in an interesting flare over your trousers. Still nice and warm, still nice and cozy, but just a peak of visual interest for people who are really paying attention to it. Play with color, play with bold designs. Who says that in winter you can't still be vibrant? Next, we have to talk about denim. I know you guys didn't think I was only going to recommend formal trousers for the winter, right? So while I can only speak for myself, I can say that denim for me tends to be an everyday option that I'm reaching for. Of course, I'll still grab for my trousers, but denim is just the easiest and the most versatile. For me and denim, I've got 3 options that I'll be reaching for in heavy rotation. My everyday tends to be a barrel leg or horseshoe silhouette. And while people would tell me that a barrel leg or a horseshoe silhouette is not something you should invest in heavily as it is highly trendy, I would argue that what is a good investment for you ultimately depends on you. For me, wider denim has always been my preference. When barrel leg was introduced, I gravitated towards it, and I find that silhouette to be not only very stylish, but also very flattering on my body. So it's something that I could see myself wearing even when it is not on trend, because it is just something that I deem that looks great on me. Just like how skinny jeans aren't actually really dead, as they still are the perfect piece to wear your over-the-knee boots with. But don't tell anybody I said that because that would be blasphemy. When I don't want a barrel leg style and I want something that feels a little bit more bohemian, I'm gonna opt for a wide leg silhouette, a traditional wide leg silhouette, preferably in a high rise. Now I have a pair of wide leg high rise denim from Ricci that I purchased at the end of last year. They have a beautiful architectural button. The waist just cinches you in, and I love the bleached out, almost white colorway. The pleating in them gives them a sense of formality. These Ricci jeans really allow me to speak to the other side of my personal style, where I'm not doing the black, architectural, strong shoulders, sleek and sculpted styling. I can do the more bohemian edge that I also quite love. Now, I also recommend a straight leg pair of jeans and an indigo wash as well. If you're investing in a new pair of jeans, this option, and you want that straight leg style, I might recommend you go the selvage option. The finish on selvage denim always looks super clean, and in theory, selvage denim should be more durable and last you longer. There is a period of breaking them in, but I can at least speak from experience that my friend's husband did not have that break-in period for his Uniqlo selvage denim jeans. I myself have a straight leg style in a carpenter finish from Helmut Wang that I purchased a little bit earlier in the season. I love the carpenter style as the carpenter style feels a bit more casual. However, the crease and the deep indigo wash add a sense of formality. But what I love even more is that when you turn around, you get this really interesting avant-garde detail of zippers. If you keep the jean zippers all the way down and fully zipped, you get a very classic straight leg silhouette. If you unzip the zippers, you get a more relaxed straight look. So I love that versatility. Again, guys, you know me. I'm always going to opt for something with just a slight twist. Now, when it comes to the true workhorse of the wardrobe and the thing that I have the most fun talking about, that's outerwear. When it comes to our outerwear, we want to be considerate here because it is the piece of our outfit that is going to have the most visibility. It's also going to be the piece that really works the hardest, as it's going to be something we grab every single day. Now, I know that not everybody has the luxury of having multiple options, but here's what I think you should go for, as these are the pieces that I have found the most versatility and fun from. The first thing that I would recommend is that you get a nice wool overcoat, probably in black. As much as I dislike the traditional winter colors, as they do feel quite somber, grays, your navies, and your blacks, I do like the versatility that this Saint Laurent black overcoat provides. Now, I do not own this Saint Laurent wool overcoat. It is out of my price point. However, it does look eerily similar to the vintage wool overcoat that I have, and I think it highlights the design elements that I love and I think will work quite well for the winter. So the first thing I love about this coat is the structure of it. It doesn't have your traditional drop shoulder. In fact, it has a nice crisp shoulder line. It's got oversized and exaggerated lapels. Yes, it is double-breasted, which is quite classic, but for some reason, I find that a double-breasted coat always looks a lot more elegant and a lot more stylish than a single-breasted option. That is purely personal preference, and that is not based in fact. It's just what I tend to gravitate towards. I also love the long line exaggerated length. This coat hits slightly longer than mid-calf, and I think that that is exquisite. Now, depending on how tall you are, you might want to opt for a shorter option so that you don't look like you're being swallowed up by your coat. But I love the length in terms of the drama it provides, but also in terms of the warmth and functionality. A wool overcoat like this is also perfect because it functions very well in formal settings. If you have to go to an event, you have to wear a suit or wear formal wear, this is going to be the perfect finish to your look. However, if you're like me and you just enjoy the juxtaposition of a beautiful structured wool coat like this with something very casual, it also looks amazing. You don't have to do the Saint Laurent option. There are plenty of options at different price points. If you can get your hands on an option that is genuine wool, that would be my recommendation. As a person who's had overcoats made from genuine wool and those made from synthetic fibers of similar weights, I can tell you that on average, the genuine wool option kept me a lot warmer. You know that winter brings inclement weather. On the non-freezing days, we have a lot of rain. But on the really cold days, we're getting snow, and that provides its own challenges. So you're going to need a jacket that is very practical and is going to be able to contend with the elements. The option you go for is ultimately up to you. I can highlight the option that I decided to purchase for myself, which is the Canada Goose Crofton Puffer Jacket. While I prefer to wear my wool overcoat as I find that to be more stylish, I love the compromise between functionality and style that this puffer jacket offers me. The color I opted for is silver birch, if I'm remembering correctly, and I love that as an alternative to black, navy, or gray because it has a vibrance and a shine to it, which just feels like that much needed levity on those cold and dreary winter days. The hood offers great protection and keeps my face safe from the elements. It has straps on the inside so that when I get overheated inside, I can zip off the jacket, drop the jacket down, and wear that on my shoulders and still be hands-free, which I love. It also has two zippers on the side of it that unzip to give you a little bit more airflow if you need that. This jacket is so incredibly warm, but I also don't feel drab and dreary when I'm wearing it. The great thing today is that you can get a puffer coat really in any color that works for you, and I would encourage you not to be afraid of color if that is something that speaks to you. Now, if you want an option that feels very fun, you should definitely go for a fur or faux fur option. The way you go about this is entirely up to you. You can opt for a short version, you can do a mid-length version, you can do a maxi-length version. You really have great options. If you spent any time on social media as of late, you can see that oversized, cropped faux fur jackets are all the rage. So it might be a good time to invest if that is your thing. You've got limitless options in terms of colors. You can get styles with hoods. You can get styles with exaggerated sleeves. You can get styles that have a zipper option. For people who are not interested in purchasing faux furs, genuine fur is certainly an option. I know that there are people who have an ethical stance on why they won't purchase genuine fur, and really I understand both sides of the argument when it comes to not wanting faux versus genuine. Faux fur is made of plastic, and we know how dangerous plastics are to the environment. However, people also don't appreciate the animal cruelty that comes with making genuine fur, and that I also understand. I will say that if you want to have a genuine fur and not have the guilt of the cruelty to animals, you can always go the secondhand or vintage option, whereas that coat already is in existence and somebody's already gotten their use out of it, and so you're buying something that is already in existence, and that will naturally have a smaller environmental impact and feel a little bit less icky when it comes to the ethical standpoint. Now we're up to accessories. Now I find that with accessories, you can really have a lot of fun here for your winter wardrobe. When it comes to people investing in pieces for their winter wardrobe, it is quite common to see people invest in pieces in more classic, subdued colors, in more traditional cuts. And I definitely understand that. When you're spending your money on these pieces, you want them to be versatile, and you certainly don't want to spend top dollar on something in, say, like a fuchsia pink, when fuchsia pink isn't an easy color for you to style with multiple pieces in your wardrobe. That's where accessories can provide that much needed injection of dopamine. My preference for hats in the winter season is always a good beanie. Beanies to me always carry an aura of coolness, but they also are so functional and practical. When I was putting together my video, I stumbled across this option from Cause. It's a mohair beanie in a pink colorway. I love the texture, but I also know that mohair is so good at keeping you nice and warm. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, pink is a color that I like to wear in the winter. It serves as a nice pop, while also pairing nicely with the other shades of neutrals that I tend to incorporate in my wardrobe. However, you can certainly opt for black, white, gray, whatever best works for you. For my friends with natural hair, do not fret. There are now so many great options for beanies on the market that are satin lined, so you can get the look that you desire without having to worry about your hair snagging and being dried out by the wool fibers. Another option that I genuinely like for hats is a fur or faux fur option. Now I have a faux fur option in a light blue colorway, which is kind of the shape of a bucket hat. It's really, really pretty, and it just gives Ice Queen vibes every time I wear it. So if that is more your speed, definitely try it out. They feel fun and whimsical. Now you're also going to need a nice wool scarf. Now yes, the option I'm showing is also pink. Yes, I have an agenda. I love pink. You can certainly always opt for a more neutral color. It's just that with a scarf, I love the way a bright, vibrant color pops against a black or a gray or a navy option. And that to me just really sets off an entire look. I also just really love the colorways that Acne does within their scarf options. They're always really beautiful, and as a person who owns a pink Acne scarf, I have loved it since I bought it in like 2016 or so. The other option that you're going to need is a pair of good merino wool socks. We certainly have to talk about gloves. Gloves really are quite practical, and I like them to be functional, and I want them to keep my hands warm. So I would say if you're investing in gloves, the best bang for your buck is probably going to be leather. You can certainly opt for knit options, and with knit options you certainly get really fun colorways and patterns. However, I find that when the weather gets particularly cold, knit gloves don't keep my hands as warm as I would like, whereas I tend to fare a little bit better with leather gloves. Leather gloves also are very sleek, they're very streamlined. You can get an exaggerated length for a more dramatic effect, or you can get a really cool colorway. If you're feeling particularly bold, you can opt for options that are trimmed in fur or other materials. Now, when it comes to footwear for winter, this is always interesting because if you live in a climate like mine, you're going to need a variety of options depending on what the weather is doing. Now let's get this out of the way because of course we're going to need a weatherproof option, which are traditionally just quite ugly. Let's just call a spade a spade. Now I have two options that I personally own. While I would never recommend these options because I don't like to wear them, and my preference would be to never have to wear them at all, I do feel that as far as functionality and style goes, they're the best compromise I could find. First up is this Ugg Butte style. I've owned this style in gray since my freshman year of college. And I will say that as far as a practical boot goes, the silhouette isn't as ugly and as bulky as you might expect. I do like that they fold down a little bit and you can see some of the shearling. I also like the gray color as it provides a little bit of contrast to my more practical winter wear essentials, which tend to be in black. I can go out in the snow in these and not feel anything, and so for that reason they're very practical. If I just need something that can handle wet conditions, I can't remember the name now off the top of my head, but I'll insert it in the video. But I actually have a weatherproof pair of Doc Martens boots that just look like a black combat boot. They are a little bit chunkier than what I would traditionally opt for, but I do appreciate the fact that most people can't tell that they are a weatherproof shoe, which is what I usually hate about weatherproof shoes, is that they're just giant and lumbering and they're just never attractive. Now that we've got the practicality out of the way, we can opt for other options as well. Now when it comes to boots, ultimately what you opt for is going to be up to your personal preferences. I know for my personal preference, my Saint Laurent Wide 40 boots in silver are the ones that get the most wear year over year. And that's where my merino wool socks come in because these boots are a little bit thinner and they tend to, I think, work better in more mild temperatures. However, with that merino wool sock, I'm nice and insulated and I'm not feeling the cold winter air on my feet. A combat boot or a good Chelsea boot are other options that I would recommend. Doc Martens, you can never go wrong, but there are options from every single brand and at every single price point. I'm always on Essence browsing to see what new footwear options that they have. Now, I'm not in the market for any new boots at all because I am at capacity, but winter is the season of boots, so definitely check out what's out there and get a couple of great pairs to wear. Now, when boots maybe aren't the right silhouette for what I'm going for, I love to opt for a good loafer or derby shoe, preferably something that has a little bit of weight to it. I love a good chunky loafer. I have a pair of black Ferragamo loafers with a blue lug sole that I absolutely love. However, I also am possibly in the market for a Margiela lace-up in the Tabi style. I love these so much. I know people hate the Tabi shoe because they think it looks like a hoof, but I actually think that Tabi toe box is what makes them so interesting. And they're definitely something that I could see myself purchasing. Next up, you're going to need a good sneaker. Leather options are probably the way to go, but really, you can make anything work as long as you have the appropriate sock on. I know for this winter, a lot of people are still going to be grabbing their Sambas and Gazelles, which I think are fantastic, as long as the ground doesn't have snow on it or isn't wet. For me personally, my go-to sneaker is the Converse hike style. And while yes, I know you guys are looking at me and saying like, dude, how are you wearing a canvas shoe in winter? For me and my sneaker options, it's always been about the sock. And when I have a good pair of wool socks on, I don't feel the elements at all in these. And for me, the hike is probably the most comfortable sneaker I've worn to date. So that'll be the option that I end up going with, preferably in like a light tan colorway. Alright guys, and that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully my video of my winter essentials for 2025 inspires you to go out and find great options. Remember, you don't have to compromise personal style just to keep warm. There are so many options out there. If you look, you're going to find something that you love. Let me know in the comment section down below. What will you be grabbing for this winter? Is there something maybe that you love that I didn't mention in today's list? As always, guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.